Okay, hello and welcome everybody. My name is Matt and I am doing a bit of a test here with the whole COVID-19. There's a lot of people having to do things that they're not doing before. I'm just having a bit of a play here. For those who don't know, I work at a university in the audiovisual department. And as you can imagine, a lot of universities and teaching areas trying to work out how to do live streaming and teaching online. As part of that, I am just testing some things out, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you one of my little toolkit that I have, that I use at work, that I've kind of built up. Yeah, also a little bit of a playing around with a few things, like I won't pick it up. It's this IPEVO V4K document camera, which is a USB document camera. Just kind of giving that a test, all going through OBS. And that's the document camera box. Yeah. So I do want to confirm that we are actually getting audio. So if you just bear with me, we're just going to go and preview the live stream on my other computer here, so we can see. So how do I preview it? Yeah, link, that's what I want. Okay, so we can hear it. I just wanted to make sure that my lapel microphone is working, which may, no, it's not covered up, sorry for touching that. But I'm using one of these things. I guess I'll give you a bit of a show on what I'm using. Samsung XPD2 lavalier. Basically it's a USB wireless microphone. If you wanted to go with a, let's just move this stuff here. Sorry for the what do you call it, production values, but yeah, so Samsung little wireless microphone. Not really what we're here to talk about. I just thought I would show you that, just because I'm rambling. I do like to ramble. But these little Samsung microphones, I will say that they are actually pretty good for this kind of thing, doing lecture captures on small areas if you don't want to be tied to a wide lapel or something like that. But anyway, what I was here for was to show you my toolkit, and what I'm going to do is I thought I had this camera set up. Sorry, I'll show you what I'm doing. Got a camera. Can we get that a bit straighter so we get a little bit further off it? Not really. Anyway, so looking at this, you might go, that looks like a Leatherman Surge sheath with some shit stuck to it, and you would be right. But if we open this up, you'll see there's not a Leatherman Surge in there. What I will point out is this toolkit is kind of not doing away with a whole Leatherman or multi-tool. I usually am carrying a Leatherman, either my Wave or my Surge generally, or a Wingman. Have several Leathermans. but they're probably the three that I'm most likely to be carrying at any one time. So yeah, so a few multi-tools that I can carry, but this thing's essentially made for a backup. So day-to-day business, I'll probably have this and my keys, which on my keys I also have a little Swiss tech tool, so I've always got that. Pretty much a little shifting spanner. Sometimes that's good for VGA barrel kind of screws and stuff. And then my little night core torch, which is quite a handy little tool to have as well. It's nice to have a custom, like a torch that's separate to your keys. But anyway, I digress. Back to my little toolkit. So the thinking behind the toolkit is Leatherman's good. It's good to have tools, but there's a lot of things that a Leatherman doesn't do very well. And sometimes you need more things. The goal with this was to try and do like 80% of the tasks that I do in my day-to-day job with this one toolkit. Look, I'm not quite there, I don't think. I do lack a few features that I just can't physically get into this smaller toolkit. If I go a bit bigger, find something bigger, then maybe I could do it, but that's bulk. I can still chuck this on and go around doing stuff. Sorry, I keep looking off to myself on OBS. Yeah, but we can go around doing stuff. This isn't getting in the way, it's not too heavy. And it's kind of a companion to my Leatherman, as opposed to a larger toolkit. What we usually do is I've got just a tool bag. It's quite big, it's quite heavy because it's got every tool under the sun in it, which works okay, but it gets a bit gets a bit hefty. So yeah, I just wanted something that I could take with me for more often than not. But what I'm going to do now is we'll go back to the camera, go back to the document camera, and we'll have a look at the stuff that's in this little toolkit. And I will explain some things as I go, I guess. So, as you saw, toolkit. Let's get rid of the Leatherman for the time being. Open it up. First thing you'll see is, but we don't even need to open it up to get to it, but shifting spanner. It's an Iriga shifting spanner, so it's actually a really good quality one. 6-inch, I think. Basically, a lot of projector mounts and stuff, a lot of things like that. Shifting spanner is really handy for undoing those. Pair of Knippex side cutters. As you might already saw, there's a lot of zip ties. And one thing I've always hated about Leathermans is they're not very good at cutting zip ties. Basically, your options are to use a knife, which I've never been a fan of using a knife to cut zip ties. It just seems a bit ridiculous. Or your other option is to grab them with the pliers and twist, and never been a fan of that either. So one of the first things I wanted to get into this kit was the pair of side cutters. The side cutters, they're not flush cuts, which would be the best thing for installing zip ties. Probably would be nice to, if I could get something a little bit less, bit more low profile, that I could fit a little bit more in here, but in general they do the job. Yeah, and a bunch of zip ties, because you never have enough zip ties. So let's go. And probably one of the most used tools in here is this thing. It is a, what are they there? Klien tools screwdriver. It's a tweaker. So basically I use it as a tweaker. If anybody's been in AV for any amount of time, you'll be aware of the Extron tweakers. They're good and all, but not as good as something like this. The advantage of a proper screwdriver over like the tweaker is if you need to do something, if you want to unscrew things, you can rest it in your palm like this. I don't even know if this is focusing very well, but yeah, it allows you to kind of screw the device a bit quicker like that. Whereas this, they're too short to kind of get in your palm very well, and they don't have like a pivot, so it's, and then you got the pocket clip, and they do the good job. Pretty much everybody has a bunch of these lying around. Have a couple of different ones. Obviously the Extron ones are probably the most well known, but other people make them. I had a what was a Kramer one or something here, I thought, but the Extron ones are probably the most well known ones. But that one's not in there, so let's get rid of that. The Klien. And I only got one there, but there should be two. So another item that's in here, let's try to squeeze these into a bit of, is it knolling? I think knolling is the term for laying out things like this, where you lay everything out all perfect and nice and stuff. This is going to be a pretty average effort, but two little tiny Allen keys. They are, because at my work we have a lot of, oh, that didn't, why didn't that take? We are still recording. Oh, did I just stop it? Transition. I think for some reason the stream is broken. It still says it's going. Oh, I've paused this preview. Sorry. I'm going to shut up and continue. But basically, the tweakers, because we have a lot of these AMX, what are they, DCS, what are they, CP3008s or 8003s or something, controllers. And to get the front panel off, you need to remove the knob. And there's two different types. There's basically, I think it's a metric and an imperial Allen key, and or they're just two different ones. So it's good, basically we have both. So no matter which version of the panel we have, I have the right Allen key for it. So with the Klien screwdriver and the two Allen keys, that's enough to get, basically for me to service one of those AMX panels. Something I didn't show you with the Klien screwdriver is it's a double-ended screwdriver. So if you pull both out and go have a bit of a look, so you get a relatively large, and if we flick it over, you can might actually be even able to read the so you get a Phillips head 0. Okay, you won't be able to flip that one over because that's where the thing is, and a Phillips head 00 and a 1/8 inch and like a 3/32 inch screwdriver. The only thing that I wish you could do with this Klien screwdriver, or wish it was, is that instead of having the two really small Phillips heads, that it had like maybe the 0 or one of them, I'm not sure which one. It'd be good to have a choice. But with the other end having like a Phillips 1 or even like a compact Phillips 2 on the other end of it, that would be the best option for me, because with this Klien screwdriver, I just can't get a come across like a Phillips 2 more often than you realise. But so currently there is a workaround in this kit, which I'll show you in a minute. Just seems almost a little bit redundant with this, with the two of these. They're kind of so close together that it's like, why are we even bothering with the two different type ones? Anyway, let me screw that back together, or click it back together. Klien screwdriver and some Allen keys. And you might have saw on the Velcro on the shifting spanner, because shifting spanner Velcro is very handy for the odd quick tool fix. So there's not actually a lot of stuff in here, but so for my workaround for the Klien is this little critter. It is a little 1/4" hex ratchet. It's like a South Korean brand. I think they are made in China, but it was like a South Korean packaged version. What was it called? Smato, S-M-A-T-O. Like, basically it's a clone, or possibly even out of the same factory of like the, I've already forgotten, I had it on my tip of my tongue a minute ago, like the Toolkit ratchets. So yeah, I think it's the Toolkit, and there's a few other ones that you find online, little ratchet. So you got one end that is a ratchet, which occasionally comes in handy. It's also, the other end just works as a regular 1/4" hex. We've got like a, what's that, a Phillips 1 in it there, which kind of does a bit, but you don't always need a Phillips 1. And as you can see, there's like a fairly wide flat in there. Sometimes you need some other items. So in here we have not too much redundancy. The painted Allen keys are, they came with, I'm pretty sure they came with the little Smarto ratchet, and I keep all of those in because pretty much every one of those is useful when I'm on various projector brackets that I have. I do find that, yeah, quite often there's quite a lot of Allen keys that we've used in the past, so different ones on different brackets and stuff. So I like to keep all of those in there, and we will go back to the thing now. The T27 Torque Security, I think it is, yeah, so T27 Torque Security. That one is primarily, we have a few security kind of stuff around that comes in quite handy. It's just a Torque security bit. In the flat ones, various flat screwdrivers come in handy occasionally. And then you've got a Phillips 3, Phillips 2, what's that one? Is that a Phillips 1? That's like just another Phillips 1 basically. A little bit redundant, but that's that. And I don't know if you can see, the other thing that I'm pointing with is this little dealio, which is my DIY version of a what do you call it? A Leatherman bit extender. So if we go over here and have a look at this, this is my Leatherman Wave 2nd generation. I do have a Leatherman Wave original generation, but the springs are broken and I don't carry it because it's broken. But yeah, Leatherman Wave handy little tool. The newer ways, fair few of the newer Leathermans, newish Leathermans, these have been out for 10-15 years, have this little dude, little flat bit, which is like a flattened 1/4 inch hex bit driver. You can buy, but they're quite expensive, bit adapters that go in here that allow you to put a standard 1/4 inch thread in there. That's not focusing very good, is it? Let's go back to the document camera, see if it works. But so instead of me buying the expensive adapter bits that allow me to use these bits in a Leatherman, I decided to make my own. So it's a fairly straightforward job. Just one of these cheapo generic that I'm sure everybody has a bunch of these kicking around. 1/4 inch kind of quick change extension bits for your drills. I just hit it on my belt grinder, ground it off flat. I didn't do quite a good job. I was aiming to get kind of like this, where I had the kind of peaks of the shaft originally, but this side I did okay actually. This side's fairly well centered. This side I'm a bit off, but that doesn't matter too much. If I take my Leatherman, then we can slot it in there, and then, okay, you can't really show it that good folded, so we'll go back up here. We have a Leatherman, and then we can take one of these bits. Say I need to pull out a device from a rack, probably the Phillips 3 is good for those ones. And just to be a little bit I can't see it, they're not stamped on there, but the on this, the blue ones I've coloured in blue, were actually out of a kit. I don't think I have it here. It's out of like a set of what do you call them? Japanese brand. I want to say make a lot of screwdrivers. I can't think of what they're called. What are they? Vessel. It's a Vessel set. So pretty good top end set of hex bits. I'm sure there's probably bigger ones out there. Originally the Vessel, because they're Japanese, used to be the primary makers of JIS screwdrivers. However, these days you don't really need them. You just need the ISO standards. So any standard, proper built standard screwdriver should fit JIS screws, my understanding is, and JIS has kind of been rolled up into future current generations of screwdrivers. Anyway, enough on screwdrivers. Let's so yeah, that allows me to get a bit of extra leverage, and allows this screwdriver, the Phillips 3, allows me to get to the bigger screws, like a rack screws for AV equipment. You can pull them with a Phillips 2, but they do seem to be a Phillips 3, and they come out a lot easier. You can get a lot more torque on them if they're being jammed in, or somebody's screwed stuff down with the impact driver. But anyway, yes, so that is essentially my little toolkit. Let's put that one in there, and that one down there. Put my Leatherman bit back in there. We'll get that little Leatherman wave in there. And I guess one thing I should note on this guy, the Leatherman sheath is kind of made to thread through your belt. It's not particularly made very well for threading, for like taking on and off. I don't particularly want to walk around all day with this on. I do find it useful to get, if I go do a job, to chuck it on my belt and then take it off. So what I did to get around that was found these little gear clips online on eBay. I don't know what I paid for them. I don't think it was much. It would have been like $5 or $6. I think it was like 4 of them or something, 4 or 5 of them. So it wasn't a whole lot of money. Got that, and then I literally, it's got one screw hole in it. I don't know if it has another hole in it, but it's got this one hole in it. So I literally just drilled a hole through the leather of this and put a rivet in the leather, so it's pivoted. It's kind of held on that pivot, which so far is held up exceptionally well. I'm actually really happy with how it's worked out. I can't really fault this guy. Do I have? I don't think I have. I think it's at home. I've tried a couple other different pouches and stuff that I've had lying around, but so far my Leatherman Surge sheath is with the little modification on the back has been the best toolkit. Sometimes, yeah, as I was saying, I would like a little bit more room, so maybe I could squeeze a few things in. One thing that I haven't been able to get into this kit is a Allen key that will take off the large bolts for some of the projectors we have. Yes, I just can't. It's quite a large Allen key, but I just can't get one to go in this kit in such a way that gives me enough leverage to actually remove it. I was contemplating. I can't bring myself to do it to this shifting spanner, but I did have dreams / thoughts of taking a 6-inch shifting spanner and on this end either attaching it with a small ratchet or possibly a spanner, I guess maybe you could also put like a low profile Allen key in and just do it manually, kind of. But I was kind of contemplating a ratchet, so you could just like get it up and you'd have to cut this off and weld some kind of ratchet head on there. The problem being with that is that some of the projector brackets we use don't have a lot of clearance, so it's actually quite difficult in general to get any Allen key in there. That's one of the things I'm still kind of thinking about. But more often than not, this stuff now gets me through without having to take my whole toolkit, which, if you bear with me for a moment, is this guy. So this is my toolkit. This is, I think I said it's mine. It's not mine, it's our office's. It's just a super cheap toolkit. And if we open it up, actually if you want to go stop opening it, we'll just do a bit of a whoosh. You can see in here there's a lot of stuff like hammer. That's a lot of hammering. These things are good actually. Panasonic drill and driver. These things are like at least 15 years old, I reckon. The batteries on them, I think some of the batteries on these guys are starting to get a bit old, but brilliant little screwdriver, electric screwdrivers. But as you can see, carting all this stuff around is a nightmare, which is why, which is what's motivated me to build this kit here. So basically that's about all I've got to show, I think. So this is a bit of a work in progress. It's always trying to squeeze the maximum amount of stuff in to the minimum amount of space. So yeah, I've been meaning on doing this little video for a while, and just thought I'd test a bit of YouTube live streaming with some of the cameras and stuff we've got here, and test out this little microphone, which I can hear it come through this headphones there still, so I'm definitely still transmitting audio, which is good. But that's about it, I think. There's not a whole lot more for me to show in this video. That is primarily my toolkit that I've been working on. If anybody out there has any thoughts on how I could improve this or fit a few more capabilities into it without a lot more space, I am open to suggestions on things like a screwdriver that might have a similar size and shape to this, that has like a Phillips 1 or 2, which would be awesome, and then still a small tweaker for getting into things like these, which actually need the ultra small one, which is the 332. So basically my use case for the tweaker screwdriver is Phoenix connectors. So something like the 332 is pretty much a necessity. A small Phillips head, like one of these Phillips heads, are good because the things like the screws on these are, what's that on the Phillips? That's just the Phillips 0, and it's pretty much perfect. If you try to use like a 1, like a 2, like a Phillips head 2 or Phillips head 1, you mess these screws up. The zeros just snap into it. So yeah, if we could replace like this one of these Phillips heads with a Phillips 1 or 2, that would be an awesome screwdriver. But I haven't found the perfect screwdriver yet. So I really like this Klien. It's a really nice screwdriver, and it does most of the stuff, because at the end of the day I do have these guys in here with the 1/4 inch adjust. So if it's kind of asking a bit too much to have everything kind of in a small screwdriver, so kind of happy with this compromise at the moment. And if I need the extra leverage, I've got this little guy. So if anybody else has any suggestions or thoughts on the matter, I am happy to hear about them. Tell us what you think, and you know what, do all the Facebook stuff if you like us. Give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down. Don't bother give us a thumbs up at all. I'm just kind of rambling for the sake of rambling now, so I'm going to stop this guy, and I will see you guys and girls and everybody and anybody watching. I'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Don't get sick. Fade to black.